During the first month, you have one pair of rabbits. And since they haven't matured, they can't reproduce. During the second month, there's still only one pair. But at the beginning of the third month, the first pair reproduces for the first time, so there are two pairs of rabbits. At the beginning of the fourth month, the first pair reproduces again, but the second pair is not mature enough, so there are three pairs. In the fifth month, the first pair reproduces and the second pair reproduces for the first time, but the third pair is still too young, so there are five pairs. The mating ritual continues. But what you soon realise is the number of pairs of rabbits you have in any given month is the sum of the pairs of rabbits you've had in each of the two previous months. So the sequence goes 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, and so on.
The Fibonacci numbers are nature's favourite numbers. It's not just rabbits that use them. If you count the number of petals on a flower, it's invariably a Fibonacci number. You find these numbers running up and down pineapples if you count the number of segments. Even snails use them to grow their shells. Wherever you find growth in nature, you find the Fibonacci numbers.
But the next major breakthrough in European mathematics wouldn't happen until the early 16th century. It would involve finding the general method that would solve all cubic equations. And it would happen here in the Italian city of Bologna. The University of Bologna was the crucible of European mathematical thought at the beginning of the 16th century. Pupils from all over Europe flocked here and developed a new form of spectator sport, the mathematical competition. Large audiences would gather to watch mathematicians challenge each other with numbers, a kind of intellectual fencing match. But even in this questioning atmosphere, it was believed that some problems were just unsolvable. It was generally assumed that finding a general method to solve all cubic equations was impossible. But one scholar was to prove everyone wrong.
His name was Tartaglia, but he certainly didn't look the heroic architect of a new mathematics. At the age of 12, he'd been slashed across the face with a sabre by a rampaging French army. The result was a terrible facial scar and a devastating speech impediment. In fact, Tartaglia was a nickname he'd been given as a child, and means the stammerer.
Shunned by his schoolmates, Tartaglia lost himself in mathematics. And it wasn't long before he'd found the formula to solve one type of cubic equation. But Tartaglia soon discovered that he wasn't the only one to believe he'd cracked the cubic. A young Italian called Fior was boasting that he too held the secret formula for solving cubic equations. When news broke about the discoveries made by the two mathematicians, a competition was arranged to pit them against each other. The intellectual fencing match of the century was about to begin.
The trouble was that Tartaglia only knew how to solve one sort of cubic equation, and Fior was ready to challenge him with questions about a different sort. But just a few days before the contest, Tartaglia worked out how to solve this different sort, and with this new weapon in his arsenal, he thrashed his opponent, solving all the questions in under 2 hours.
Tartaglia went on to find the formula to solve all types of cubic equations. News soon spread, and a mathematician in Milan called Cardano became so desperate to find the solution that he persuaded a reluctant Tartaglia to reveal the secret to him. But on one condition, that Cardano keep the secret and never publish.
But Cardano couldn't resist discussing Tartaglia's solution with his brilliant student Ferrari. As Ferrari got to grips with Tartaglia's work, he realised that he could use it to solve the more complicated quartic equation. An amazing achievement. Cardano couldn't deny his student his just rewards, and he broke his vow of secrecy, publishing Tartaglia's work together with Ferrari's brilliant solution of the quartic.
Poor Tartaglia never recovered and died penniless. And to this day, the formula that solves the cubic equation is known as Cardano's formula. Tartaglia may not have won glory in his lifetime, but his mathematics managed to solve a problem that had bewildered the great mathematicians of China, India, and the Arab world. It was the first great mathematical breakthrough to happen in modern Europe.
The Europeans now had in their hands the new language of algebra, the powerful techniques of the Hindu-Arabic numerals, and the beginnings of the mastery of the infinite. It was time for the Western world to start writing its own mathematical stories in the language of the East. The mathematical revolution was about to begin.
You can learn more about the story of maths with the Open University at open2.net.